The year is 2009. You're playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and when you finally clutch that 1v6 search and destroy, your team is geeking you up. You get so riled up, you call the person on the other team's mother, a word that starts with a W, and then a few seconds later, everyone's voice goes silent. You get a notification from PlayStation Network saying that you're now offline. A classic DDoS attack. We've all been there before, and if you follow these tips, you won't ever have to get your router fried again. Let's go. DDoS stands for Distributed Denial of Service Attack. It's when a bunch of zombie computers that are under the control of a hacker all turn towards your home network. They blast you with a ton of IP address pings at the same exact time. Just imagine 1,000 people spam knocking at your front door while you're trying to walk outside. Like, that same exact concept happens when you're actually being DDoSed. And honestly, if you've ever downloaded any cracked software or pirated games on your computer, which, hey, maybe all of us have, there's a really good chance that your computer is currently a slave to a hacker and your device is actually helping carry out a DDoS attack somewhere else right now. Small world. But how the hell are these 13-year-old kids DOSing you? We know for a fact they are not a top-level hacker with 100,000 slave computers under their control. You're absolutely right. They are not hackers by any means. They actually pay the real hackers that do, and they sell them access for a short period of time. The little 13-year-old script kiddie, actually, that doesn't know how to hack for his life, would pay a real hacker X amount of money, and the real hacker would let him DDoS any IP address that he wants with his botnet, which is basically the whole body of slave computers, for about 5 minutes long, for an example. The more money he pays, the longer the attack, or the higher the bandwidth, which is basically more people flooding the person's front door, just in case you have like a really, really big data server and you have a bandwidth the size of NASA at your house, for an example, which you probably don't, because that's impossible. But Lucid, how do they have my IP address? I didn't give anybody my IP address, but honestly, it's really, really easy to slip and give away your IP address by accident. I've done it myself. So at this point, we realize that we are being DDoSed and there's nothing that we can do to stop it. So we end up calling the guy back off of LTE and asking him, yo, like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? And he's just laughing and he's like, is Lucid crying? First, you're probably playing a peer-to-peer game which connects people together, with the host being one of the people in the lobby. Like the really old Call of Duties when somebody would leave the match, for an example, and you'd see host migrating for 10 seconds when you're 1 kill away from a freaking nuke. That was really annoying. I'll never forget those days. But yeah, that's basically what peer-to-peer is. Or even Omegle. That's the easiest way to pull anybody's IP address. So much so that I've made countless videos of pulling people's IP address and scaring the shit out of them with their real life location. Doesn't take a genius. I'm not saying I'm not one, but it doesn't take a genius, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe you clicked on a sus link. You might have pressed on an IP address grabbing link when your friend on Discord said, hey, is that you in this picture? And then your heart sinks thinking, oh my God, is my picture leaked online? You go press on it and then you get rickrolled. Never gonna give. I can't even sing it because I'm gonna get copyright claimed, you know what I'm saying? So you press on this link only to find out that the rickroll video has already redirected you to an IP address grabbing link and then to the video itself, thus pulling your IP address and finding out exactly where you live down to the city or so. By the way, this is super simple. Anybody with the IQ of a banana can make an IP logger link for free online, okay? Don't think you're a hacker. Actually, matter of fact, please don't even do this in general. It's extremely, extremely weak. Everyone's gonna make fun of you for it. You're not gonna be a hacker if you say, oh, I have your IP address. Unless you're me on Omegle that's trying to make a video for YouTube. Or your IP address was a part of a recent data breach, which is highly possible. When companies get hacked and their data gets totally breached, the hackers steal it. They compile all the data together, so they get usernames, passwords, first names, IP addresses, link them all together on like a spreadsheet, and then they sell them off to somebody for like 100 grand, for an example. If maybe less than that, I was kind of exaggerating. So that's where you messed up. Now let's fix it. First, you're gonna need a VPN. A VPN is a virtual private network. It basically makes a secure tunnel between you and every single site that you're on, so nobody from the outside can see what you're doing on those sites or what your IP address is while you are there. The hacker would have been able to tell that this isn't your real IP address because it comes from like a VPN type of IP. They can tell really easily, and they wouldn't even bother trying to, hit off a VPN server, because not only is it much harder to DDoS a VPN company, but if you somehow manage to do so, which you should not because it's really illegal and they might actually sue you because they're a corporation, the person that's using the VPN can just press another button and change his IP address to one of the other 1,000 that they have. However, the main drawback of using a VPN, especially for daily use and gaming, is latency. Let me explain. When you're gaming, you want to always have the closest connection to the server that you're playing on. Having low latency will allow you to see other players first when turning corners. You can actually have just a few more milliseconds to aim down sights and get the shot off first. It's actually a huge advantage when you're playing any first-person shooter or any, competitive game for that matter. Now, some VPN servers are very far from you and they add additional latency to your game. To take this to the next level, you can add your VPN directly into your router settings so that every device on your home network is automatically using a VPN without having to download any additional software. This is next level. And it only works for newer routers that are not provided by your ISP like Comcast or AT&T, WOW, Spectrum, all of the above. It has to be purchased by you, and the router has to support it, which most do. Every router is going to be different. Mine makes it really easy. Yours might do as well. All you have to do is import a .ovpn file, which you would get from your own VPN provider. These are my settings right here. I choose Linux, 2.4 or newer, and then I choose the closest state to me as far as latency with the VPN. And my settings are the UDP, 2048 RSA, and AES 128 GCM. Really nerdy stuff, but these are my settings basically for speed and also security at the same exact time. You press generate and drop that file into your VPN on your router. Now once that's in, drop your username and password for your VPN to log in, and you should be able to set a VPN specific for each device on your router, or you can press this to apply to all devices. Now you are locked in. But what if someone already has your real IP address? Masking something that's already exposed is not going to really help you because they can keep hitting your home address over and over again, right? So how do you get a new real IP address by your ISP? Okay, it's kind of complicated. Focus. It's going to be a little bit difficult. Your ISP or your internet service provider assigns you an IP address in one of two ways: dynamic IP address or static IP address. Very simple, right? If you have a dynamic IP address, changing your real IP is super easy, at least compared to static. Go to your router settings, find any way, like look it up on Google. If you have an ASUS router, Netgear router, there's so many companies. Look up how to spoof a MAC address or change a MAC address on a Netgear or ASUS router, for an example. Find that setting and change maybe 1 or 2 letters only. Don't go crazy with it. You're probably going to end up breaking something. Change something, and this is called spoofing your MAC address. Now what this does, it's making your modem think that you just purchased a brand new router. And when that happens, the modem says, oh wait, now we need a new IP address. Hello Comcast, WOW, AT&T, any company, give me a new IP so I can give this new router a new IP. You know what I'm saying? Kind of complicated. It's all good. You can do this nearly infinitely if you have a dynamic IP address. Like literally, I've changed my IP address sometimes to avoid getting banned on certain websites at least like 25 times in one day. And it actually works every single time within about 5 minutes or so. Now, if that doesn't work, unplug your modem for as long as you can, maybe between 15 to 30 minutes, and it should try to reassign you a brand new IP address. If it doesn't, then do it for a lot longer, maybe like an hour or 2, or just leave it overnight. That's probably the best option. As for a static IP address, you can't change your static IP address. When someone gets your real static IP, you are almost kind of. You have 2 options. Number 1, call your ISP. Spend 12 hours bouncing around to different support reps that don't know shit about networking or cybersecurity or IP addressing or actually anything for that matter. And if you are lucky, you're going to reach the head supervisor of the whole company after like the 7-hour mark that will actually have the power to assign you a new IP address. I swear, you have a better chance of hitting the lottery 192.168 times before actually having this happen. These companies hire literal idiots that don't know anything about anything in general, let alone change a static IP address. You're literally cooked, but it's possible. I've seen one guy on Reddit talk about how he did it with AT&T. It took him like hours. He had to email them, go back and forth for a week, and they finally changed his IP address, but good luck. Option number 2, use their own ignorance against them. Now, this is advice that I'm not actually going to give you because I can't ever tell you to lie technically. That's really bad. Drugs are bad. But what I will tell you is a story that I did in my past, which you should never replicate. I unplugged my modem/router. Then I called them and said, hey, my modem is not turning on. I don't know why. I need a brand new one. They said, okay, try these 5,000 troubleshooting steps. I said, okay, sure. So I acted like I was following along, didn't do shit, say, yep, not working. And then eventually they're like, okay, it's probably broken. We'll just send you a new one. Give it about a week or so. When you get the new modem/router, they install it for you or you do it by yourself, and you will finally get a new static IP address. The only way to change a static IP, if I'm not mistaken, is to get brand new hardware directly from your ISP. So the easiest option is just telling them it's not working, they give you a new one, or just straight up asking them, can I get a new one? If you don't feel like lying, that's up to you though. The reason for this is that static IP addresses are hardware linked to your actual device. They are linked to your the MAC address of your ISP given modem, and you can't ever change that. They will not even let you, and it's locked in there permanently. So you just have to get new hardware. Sorry, there's literally no other option as far as I've checked. Now, just a light flex, after all these years of getting DDoSed and making videos on it, what do I do at my actual house? What does my at-home DDoS protection look like? Aside from all of these tips, what do I have secret up my sleeve? It's a second internet service at my house. I literally pay for 2 lines of internet coming into my house, both plugged into one router, and that router can detect whenever one goes down, and it can back up the other in 20 seconds automatically by itself. It's so freaking cool. Oh my god, I love this. If you want a full video explaining my entire internet backup system, please subscribe and let me know in the comments. If you want to support me, you can also go to iamLucid.com, where we actually have a membership tier that lets you message me directly on Discord any time of the day, and I will answer in our private DM. So it's an option. You know what I'm saying? If you love me, please support your boy, bro. Please support me. Go to iamLucid.com. Sorry, I had a little bit of like a little episode. I spazzed out. No, I probably need help. Thank you guys for watching this video. Stay dreaming, stay lucid. I'm out. Peace.